What is your money doing to help you when you aren't watching? Let's talk about uh, famous people in the financial press. Uh, Here's what I need to tell you about people who I talk about but never met. What I tell you may be completely wrong. I don't think it is, but for your benefit and mine, you should probably consider that anyone I quote or describe, consider them as a fictional character who just happens to resemble someone in the public. I'm not trying to lie to you about them. It's just that what I have to say is more about making a point than it is about recording an historically accurate biography. I am going to recommend that you read their books, though. This is a prerequisite to my program. This first guy, everyone knows Warren Buffett. If Warren Buffett lost half his fortune this year, he would still have billions. If he lost half of it again next year, guess what? He would still have billions. So, do you think Warren Buffett follows the traditional portfolio model and at his age invests primarily for income? I don't think he has to. His company, Berkshire Hathaway, owns shares of other companies like Coca-Cola, Dairy Queen, the big railroad, and Geico Insurance. He invests in currencies. He even invests in options, not only for their protection qualities, but also just for pure profit. In the traditional portfolio model, investing in options and futures are it's some of the because you can lose everything. It's some of the riskiest investments that you make. He can invest in them because he does understand. He does understand them. What's the lesson here? In our rat race, in the rat race, our energy is focused on keeping up with the Joneses, getting our kids through college and marriage, and in later in life using catch-up contributions to fund our retirement at the last possible moment. And some people don't even try. When we reach retirement age, we have more money than we've ever had in our life. So we follow the traditional portfolio model and stop trying to grow our portfolio. This is sound financial strategy. It really is. If we barely have enough, the traditional portfolio model may help prevent us from losing our nest egg. But I'm not going to do this. If Warren Buffett can invest in the stock market and become a billionaire, I believe I can too. The problem to overcome is setting the goal. Rather than just enough to retire, I'm going to keep growing my investment past the point where there's so much I can't lose it all. That's my goal. Maybe to state that more formally, that'd be enough in retirement funds to pay my expenses, including every retirement dream, by cashing in about 3% each year and outpacing inflation in perpetuity. The next guy, Charles Givens, wrote Wealth Without Risk. The most practical book I've ever read, still mostly completely relevant. Charles Givens teaches us a couple of things. Number one, there are only a small handful of people in the world who wouldn't gladly take a dollar from you. Everyone is trying. They open stores, they work for those stores, they call you on the phone, or they just meet you in the parking lot and beg for the money. Everyone's hoping that you will buy what they're selling. Some of them realize that you're going to buy and try to get you to buy even more, until you're buying things that you don't need. And some people simply take it at gunpoint or by hacking your account. And number two, there are strategies that you can use to push the odds in your favor, allowing you to get what you want for the least money or effort. If you only read the strategies in his first book and practice them, you'll be way ahead of the curve and handle your finances better than most people in the world. There are hundreds of pages, yes, but with hundreds of effective strategies. His other books are also good optional reads. Great, you ask. So why do you need me? Well, I'm going to replace some of those Givens strategies with new, improved methods, ideas and things I've been developing for decades now. Take his money movement strategy in investing, for instance. I have a completely revamped version. There's at least three major improvements, and utilizing tools that weren't even invented yet back during Givens' lifetime. So read his book, then stick with me and learn various FireBall methods and strategies. The next guy, Robert Allen, wrote Multiple Streams of Income, another very practical book and still also completely relevant. So Robert Allen teaches us a couple of things. You can work for a paycheck and make what you honestly earn. You can also work to create a stream of income that will pay you after you finish creating it, even after you stop working on it actively. Then you can repeat that process, build a second stream of income, and just keep piling on top more and more. One of the number two, one of the most important things he talks about is recording yourself. Just look at what I'm doing here. I'm memorializing the things I've learned, and I'm offering them to you for both your benefit and mine. Alan talks about keeping a journal of everything he's learned and publishing that knowledge. Then he repackages it as he learns more in new, interesting formats, combining new info with relevant information that he previously published, giving his fans new and growing perspectives as he develops them. Robert Allen's ideas are just one notch less practical than Charles Given's, but they're still very inspirational. I think Allen started out as a real estate investor. Sometimes he accumulated rentals, and sometimes he just flipped the property, but he always maximized his gains, and he can teach you how to recognize mistakes early to minimize losses. The next guy, Robert Kiyosaki, you might recognize Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's probably one of the most well-known press authors. If you've looked into ways to replace your job with a better way to earn income, you've probably heard of his books, his series of books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki inspires us to think on a grander scale. Adding credentials to your resume is noble, but not as really as effective as adding assets to your portfolio. While you can do both, the more effort you put early in your life into developing assets, the more rewarding you'll find it. So what can you expect from me? Well, we're going to discuss how to accumulate some wealth, not just for retirement in some future, in some obscure future, 30 years from now, but also to benefit you next year and maybe even this year. Using these strategies, you'll be able to get yourself out from between the rock and the hard place by carving your way through the rock. We find most people spend everything they earn. So how do you find money to invest? We're going to look for those places. This way you can benefit like a wealthy American from the incredible power of the American economy. Just always remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm certainly not your financial advisor. So don't take this as specific advice. It's just something that I'm sharing, something that I want my family and to know, and I'm teaching my kids. And you're welcome to suffer through the entertainment value. I'll be posting some more videos, more on financials and even some on tech and computer programming. My wife's also been making some videos on family, faith, fitness, and fingernails. Somewhere in there, we'll reveal the many reasons we've chosen FireBall for our brand. If you wouldn't mind, please try subscribing. Talk with you again soon.